All right, hello everyone. So today we get to actually start on those case studies that I hinted at in the last class. So we're going to cover 3 different case studies, and these are going to be sort of the standard big 3 that we talk about when we study memory. So you might have heard of at least one of these names before. But the first of our names is going to be Clive Wearing. And so Clive Wearing was a British musician and composer, and he ended up contracting a virus that ended up damaging his central nervous system. And specifically, the part that we care about is that he suffered extensive damage to his hippocampus. And from this damage, Clive ended up having both anterograde and retrograde amnesia, which means that he couldn't recall all of his old memories and he couldn't form any new long-term memories. So he was having sort of this, he exists in the present, but can't remember things from the past or into the future. And I'm actually going to show a video of him in just a minute here. So we're going to find that he has a little bit of sort of sporadic recall of past events. So like he recognizes his wife and he knows some people, but he doesn't have a complete recollection of his past. So he mostly just exists in the present. And from our current model of memory that we've been using, that tells us that he has sort of his sensory memory and his immediate memory, but he doesn't have long-term memory.
I want to know the case studies will be in the exam or not?
The names here? Yeah, probably. Just in case. Just these ones. Yeah. Usually what I'll do is I'll mention the fact that it was a case study, and it would involve this person or that person. But if you remember that we had 3 case studies, 2 of them are going to be showing about the same thing. So, yeah. All right. And so the one thing that we're going to find very, very interesting here, so in addition to this, okay, he has functioning immediate memory, but he does not have functioning long-term memory, we did find something interesting here. And this is that Clive can still learn and complete tasks that he had learned in the past. So things like playing piano at the very beginning of the video, you actually get to see him playing piano, and he can learn new physical tasks. And so if you remember the way that we had divided up our long-term memory, we said that we have episodic and semantic memory, episodic being the stuff that's happened to you, semantic being your factual knowledge, but we also had our procedural memory. And so it seems that procedural memory was not affected by this damage to the hippocampus. So that actually tells us that even though we've grouped all of those types of memory together as long-term memory, our procedural memory is stored and retrieved in a slightly different way, specifically in a way that doesn't involve our hippocampus. So that's a really important distinction. And we're actually going to see a task that allows us to evaluate that in our next case study as well. So, okay. So our big take home from Clive Wearing was that our procedural memory and our declarative memory are 2 different systems, and that our procedural memory system doesn't require the hippocampus because his functioned just fine without a functional hippocampus. This then tells us that the hippocampus is important for the formation and retrieval of both semantic and episodic long-term memories. So both kinds of declarative memories, those are going to rely on our hippocampus. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hop out of here and I'm going to show us 2 videos, one for Clive Wearing and then one for HM, who was our second case study. And it's just because I have to turn off my recording in order to do that, or else I get a weird feedback thing. And then we can do both at once and then hop back in here.